Welcome back to the grand finale in the self-help New Year, New Me. How are you, Falcon?
I'm good.
Good.
Nice. Feel nice. I feel nice today.
Today we've been talking about this book for a while now.
Probably first episode.
2 episodes ago. We've been hyping it up. It's finally here. We mentioned it all here. Written by Dale Carnegie. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Finally. I'm excited.
I'm very excited.
There's a lot of pressure. I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm nervous right now.
Especially from our friends. I know that we talk about this all the time. A lot of our friends that know that we mention it almost every single episode. They know that it's going to be important review.
So How to Win Friends and Influence People is a book that basically, it's a good book to read before starting a new chapter in your life, whether it be college or work, because a bunch of people made fun of me when they saw it on my oh, you don't know how to make friends, but it teaches you how to handle people. And it sounds simple, but it's after reading this, you can apply a lot of things that this book tells you to your life.
Yeah. From all the self-help books that you've read, do you consider this to be the most important one?
Yeah, especially in like interpersonal interactions, for sure. I can, because you see it in the everyday life.
Yeah, no, like you said, it is crucial that you read this book, especially before you start working. We said in the last video that is subtle art, and this one are usually recommended. Most importantly, this one, that's the reason why we're dressed so nicely today, because it's very important for your work. And the connection for today is that I started working recently, and this book is very important, and I work in Miami, so we're going to be drinking a Miami beer, La Rubia.
All the way from Wynwood.
All the way from Wynwood
in Miami. We've actually had this before, so we're kind of cheating, but... So to analyze this book, I wanted to go over the 5 best ways that you've read in this book for handling people, basically. I'm going to start. My first one is a super easy one, but we don't think about it. Remember people's names. Classic. My dad has said it to me. It's you don't understand how important it is. You make the other person feel so special, but have you applied that at work?
No,
at any point.
One of the things that in the title says is that it's the nicest sound for a person's ears.
Right.
Is their names. And I actually heard about this before the book, and a lot of people will tell me, and then when I read the book, I was surprised. And I actually, in a few times that I had a few things in college where like I would try to mentor like freshmen when I was getting out of college, this is one of the things that I would mention, especially in recruiting and when you're looking for jobs and things.
Yeah, important.
Because a person that does this was Barack Obama.
Okay.
Watch any video that I see from Obama, he does the same thing. He shakes the person's hands and he asks for the name, and he repeats the name, which is huge. Yeah,
so he actually mentioned in the book, when you learn a person's name, repeat it in your head or write it down if it's not weird, 3 times, and that way you'll never forget. And there's nothing more special than you like presenting yourself saying, "Hi, I'm Alejandro," and that person remembering that name 2 hours later, because you feel special.
Or when you're in the supermarket, we do this all the time. Read the person's tag, and address the person by their name. "Hey, Maria, how's it going?" So the second point, and there's a lot of good points here, which we're also going to share once again on our Instagram. But one that I like is one that says, don't criticize, condemn, or complain.
Yeah.
Very simple. But I want to connect it to another thing that I saw on Instagram once, which is this rubber band that I wear in my hand every day. It's a little different, and it's a little weird, but something that I do, it doesn't happen very often, is that when I'm criticizing, condemning, or complaining about something, I actually go like this. Doesn't hurt that much, but it itches a little bit, and it just creates a connection of I shouldn't be complaining, I shouldn't be condemning, I shouldn't be worrying about menial things or things that don't really matter. So that was huge for me.
Don't criticize. If you're gonna, and this brings me to my third point, which we can get into already. Don't criticize, but you can always constructively tell someone how to do something better. But in the way he says it is that first you admit something they did right. So let's say I don't like the way you drink beer. I'll tell you, hey, I really like that you brought this beer. It's really good. I appreciate you driving all the way. But maybe like drink beer this way.
But he says, I don't know if he says it in the book or I read it somewhere else, is that try to not say one of the words that separates the 2 statements, like but, however.
Exactly. Yeah.
He says it in the book. He says it in the book, right?
He says it in the book. Yeah.
So he says, hey, I thank you for driving the beer, and for next time, let's try to have it a little more cold. Funny enough, I did have it highlighted as well, and it says begin with praise and honest appreciation.
That's the one. That's our third point.
I usually start that when I'm having a call with like the bank. Happened to me today.
Right.
And I'm ready just to go off and rant because there's something that has been going on in a bad way. I usually start saying, first of all, I want to thank you because you've been very helpful, but what's happening is, and I go and say it. It does help, and it does help.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. My third point is the most important point, definitely, but is the only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it.
Okay, yeah. Love it.
And he says that there's two things that can happen in an argument. You can either lose the argument, which is bad because no one likes losing.
Right.
Or you can win the argument, but you make the other person feel like a loser. And that's just not nice.
Yeah.
When I read this part of the book, I was like, this is life-changing. And to be completely honest, it has changed it drastically, the way that I feel.
And I can't tell you enough how many times we've been in a social gathering and we see people arguing over stupid things. Like, let's say, and we look at each other and it's super nerdy, but we say how to win friends. It's like a thing, and our friends always make fun of us because we always say like how to win friends when they go off like this. But let's say this beer cap is yellow and Falcon says it's blue. If you get into an argument that this beer cap is yellow, yeah, of course you're gonna win that argument, but you're gonna be
you're not gonna win anything.
You're not gonna win anything. He's gonna be resentful towards you because you made him feel like he doesn't know much, and no one wins anything. If you have an argument that it's not worth pursuing, just let it go, make peace, and move on towards better things.
It's gotten to the point where I argue with two people / groups of people. With you, because I know I have the confidence that we're not arguing, we're just discussing and maybe trying to like share ideas. Like if we have different points in economics, for example, which is super fun.
Yeah.
I know that with you, we're not getting into an argument. We're just trying to share the ideas. And with my family, because I have the confidence. Beyond that, never.
It's not worth it.
Never. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not create anything good. Never get into an argument. I don't discuss menial things. It doesn't really matter.
Our last point for today, which I think it was one of your New Year's resolutions, is that people love to talk about themselves. If you want to win someone to your way of thinking, let them speak. Let them speak to you and listen. Listening is so hard because we all love our lives and we all feel we're super special and we all want to share like our lives. But why not take that as an advantage and ask the other person to share and talk, and you just have to listen.
At work, that happens to me, which is that as you get higher in the hierarchy level, as you start talking to your boss or your leaders, there's two things that can happen. Either the person's going to go off because it's probably an old person that hasn't really talked to a lot of young people when you're talking to them.
Yeah.
You're just going to talk nonstop. That person probably has not read a lot of these books. Or the other thing, and that's when you realize that the person is very, very well educated and like has a lot of knowledge. They're going to stop for a second and they're going to ask you, but Alejandro, what do you think? And what's probably going to happen, because it's happened to me, it's happened to you because we talked about this before, you're going to start speaking and then halfway in the conversation you're going to think, what the heck does this guy like care about what I'm saying? This guy doesn't even care. But that's the important thing, is a part of listening. He says it, I learn more when I'm listening.
Yeah.
So why don't you go ahead and speak and I'll just listen to you what you're saying.
And one of the things that I read like outside of the book is that rather than say the classic, how are you feeling? Go deeper. Be like, what do you do in your life? Like, what do you want to do in 5 years? And you'd be surprised how much people can get into and how deep you can get into the conversation, and you can talk for hours. And at the end of the night, that person might become one of your closest friends. If you're a person that likes talking a lot, you have to make this a priority. That's one of the reasons why it was one of my New Year goals. I love talking. Falcon loves talking. He came to Boston 3 days. When he left, he lost his voice.
Lost my voice. To the point that I got back from the trip from Boston and I said, did I talk too much? Do Barney's roommates hate me?
The insecurities came out.
Yeah. The insecurities came out. And I started thinking, I have a YouTube channel, which gives you the opportunity for me to talk a lot.
Gives you a platform.
Gives you a platform. So I have to focus and not speaking so much. So I made a New Year's resolution to not talk more. And I have another New Year's resolution that I want to mention, which is this book has around 39 chapters, very small, which makes it easy for you to read. What I want to do this year that I haven't started is I want to read one chapter a week or every other week and try to apply that chapter in that week.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Falcon also prepared this nice summary of the book, and he wants to put it on top of his toilet, which that's pretty cool. Whenever you're going, wherever you're in the bathroom doing your stuff, you can read a couple things and be like, oh, I haven't done this in a while.
Yeah, obviously applies for guys. When you're peeing, you see it there and something that you're reading. When you finish the book, we said this in the first episode, try to do active reading, make a summary. I made a summary of just the titles of the chapters, and I want to print it out and put it in a few places where I know I'm going to read it over and over again, or even in your mirror as you're shaving or you're putting makeup on, anything like that. And I actually have a bonus one. Okay. I hadn't told you this, but we've talked about this, and now that we're filming videos, we notice sometimes, especially me when I'm filming by myself, I forget to do this. Smile. Like when you're talking, when you're listening to someone, smile. Be an active listener. Nod your head. Smile. Talking on the phone. Talking on the phone, it helps. It helps you. Psychologically, it puts your brain in a happy state, in a happy mood, and you're gonna be in a better mood for the day. Whenever you're sad,
literally, when you're crying, people say, just smile. You're going to feel a little better.
You're gonna feel a little better.
That's
I do it with my neighbors here, and I usually smile and like wave. They don't smile back, but I mean, it does make me feel good. That's that effect. Yeah, smiling is a huge one. And the interesting thing is, this book was written in the 30s,
40s.
Yeah, after the Great Depression, and it's impressive how applicable it is still to today. And
insane.
They haven't. There's a lot like Think and Grow Rich, for example. They changed a few of the examples to be like not so many people like that.
Right. They updated.
Yeah. They have not updated this book. It is the same thing, and it is impressive how you're gonna read it and you're gonna see things that apply. So that's why we can talk about this book for hours and hours, but
obviously we can't. But we have something special prepared for you guys. We're actually gonna do our first books and beers giveaway. So you have to go to our Instagram once again. We're gonna do we're gonna give away 3 of these books. Like you said in Random Walk on Wall Street, I actually love giving this book out as a gift. I gave it to my mom. It was her birthday recently. Happy birthday, Mom.
There's 2 books that I don't lend out. Random Walk on Wall Street, because I use it often for like checking my investment and everything, and this book. To the point that I wanted my brother to read it.
And so you bought one.
I purchased one and I gave it to him.
So we want you guys to read it, and we're gonna conduct a giveaway. We're gonna give away 3 of these books. If you want them signed by us, of course, we can do that. So we're gonna do it in our Instagram next week. So actually, when this video comes out this week. So stay tuned for that.
So closing conclusions of the book. For me, it is not only a must-read. It is the most important must-read for everyone.
Yeah.
One small thing is, everyone should read this book, but not everyone is ready to read this book.
Interesting.
Because I think there's a lot of people that become a little cynical at a certain point of their life and feel when they're reading a book about self-help, they say, what does this person know?
I already know this.
You have to be humble for you to read a book and say, okay, this is good. And you don't have to agree for every single thing.
Right.
But not everyone can read it.
I mean, I can count here at least 20 things. I'm sure you'll find 2 or 3 at least that are applicable to you, that can help you, I think.
But there's people that are just going to be cynical and be like, this person doesn't know anything, I'm not going to read it. And official scoring is a 4.7.
4.7? I agree with that. It's a 4.7.
And a must read?
Must read, 100%.
Definitely.
Love this book. Read it with your friends. You're gonna see me and Falcon. We sound like nerds, like we're in a party or something, and we see something happen, and we just say how to win friends, and we look at each other. It's super funny, but you can apply a lot of these things, especially if you're young like us.
Yeah. And as far as the beer?
The beer. If you guys don't know, La Rubia means blonde. Blonde beer makes sense. Yeah, I really like this beer. I've had it a lot of times. I think it's a 4 definitely. I'd give it a 4.2.
Okay. For me, it doesn't make it to the 4s. It's a 3.9.
Okay. Respect.
But it's good.
Why not a 4? Why a 3.9?
It has. There's 2 things that I've been noticing that I don't like that much about beers. When you can feel the yeast too much, and something that I think is called Cascade hops. For end of the year last year, the beer that we didn't like had both of those things, like very intensely.
We're getting technical now.
Reading a book about beer soon, but that's the main reason.
So that's a beer. Solid, I think. You should definitely try it. I don't know if they sell it outside of Miami. Do you know?
Yeah, they sell it especially in Florida and a few other places. If you download the app that you have?
Untapped, is it?
Untapped. You can search up for specific beers and it will tell you what.
We should create an Untapped and have them out.
Untapped too.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that soon and probably announce it on Instagram once again.
But anyways, stay tuned for the giveaway. Subscribe. Thank you for 110 subscribers. Let's get to 200, and we'll see you guys next week with a Falcon video. It's my last video here. It was great. It was great. I wanna miss you. Miss you too.
See you guys next week.
See ya. Ya comenzó a record.